talk about that tonight, and then shoot me an email if there's any other things you want added or any things you need clarified. I did make a mistake when I spoke about the 60-day.
Okay.
Which you probably saw.
I did.
I was like way wrong about that. So.
Well, it's only a month longer, I think, than we were thinking.
Oh, it's the entire length of the pandemic that they get extended.
Ah.
So it's September 2022.
Oh, I missed that completely.
Yeah, and that impacts like a lot of other things that we're dealing with. So.
Wow.
Yeah, the 60 days applies to like other types of licenses, like liquor licenses and some other things. And so that's what was in my head, which I shouldn't have said on TV, but I did.
Yeah, I didn't notice that was 2022. That's yikes. Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't, go ahead with the letter. So yeah, just feel free to follow here, and I'm gonna make you host really quick right now, if that's okay.
So where is it going to show up if people are trying to come in? I don't see that.
So it'll pop right up on your screen.
Okay.
And then there's also the, if you open the participants tab on the side, it'll show up there too.
Okay.
And then you can like pan over someone else, like if you wanted to switch it to someone, or if you want to enable, I think actually you guys are all able to screen share.
Okay.
The way this is set up currently.
Sounds like Eileen's coming.
I don't know. I don't know quite what's happening here.
We can hear you.
I know. I do have a big mouth. I don't understand this. Let me see. All right, I'm connected.
That's better than me. I'm not.
Well, I can see you and hear you. Maybe I have to turn the camera around. I don't know.
There's a start video button someplace.
Yeah, I think it's in the menu in the top right corner for start video.
Oh, okay. Let me see now. Yeah. Oh,
There you are.
yeah, it was on my phone. I'm better on the phone.
All right,
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't see, did everyone see the email about 3 Lewis Street? Oh, hold on, he's coming on now. All right, so I'll let him in and then we'll just start.
Okay.
All right, so it's 7 o'clock. So, I'll call the meeting of the Historic District Commission to order. It looks like our Lewis Street applicant is signing on. It just says connecting to audio. Hi, Chris, can you hear us yet? Let's give him a second. Okay, well, I guess I'll go through the, he still says connecting to audio, so I guess I'll read through the Zoom protocols. So just so everyone knows, a couple of the other applicants asked about like timing. So I told the second people probably, come on around 7:15 and then like around 7:30-ish for the third property on the agenda. And then I know we did receive that, other application yesterday, the day before, but the guy said he couldn't attend. So I guess we can talk about him during new business. And we can make a decision if he has to, what to do with that. All right, so welcome to the Historic District Commission meeting for today, June 3rd. My name is Pino D'Orazio. I am the chair, and we have a couple properties on our agenda tonight: 3 Lewis Street, 218 West Street, Unit 2, 178 West Street, 186 Summer Ave. Then we're going to discuss draft policy on new technology and review draft minutes after new business. So I'm just going to read the Zoom protocols really quick for anyone who's not familiar. This is a remote meeting, obviously being held via Zoom. The link and call-in number are in the agenda. This meeting is being recorded via Zoom, and it could be simulcast on RCTV and posted onto YouTube currently or later. I'll let people in through the waiting room. We ask that everyone mute themselves at all times unless you're acknowledged to speak by the chair or someone else on the commission. And then any applicants who come on, please unmute yourself at the time of presentation. Also ask that you use the raise hand feature and try not to use the chat feature for anything other than technical issues, as this could be a violation of open meeting protocols. Last but not least, I'll be conducting all votes via roll call, and that is it. So we'll go around and introduce ourselves really quick. So again, my name's Pino. I'm the chair, and then I'll go to the other commission members, starting with Amelia.
Hi, I'm Amelia Devon Friedman, and I am the vice chair.
All right, and over to Greg.
Hi, Greg Maganzini, member of the board of Historic District Commission.
And Everett.
Everett Blodgett, ex-chair. Now I'm just a member of the board.
And Virginia.
Virginia Adams, an associate member.
And Carl. Oh, Carl, you're on mute.
Sorry. I'm Carl Midnight. I am an associate member.
All right, and then Eileen is under a Zoom user.
Eileen Bornstein, commission member.
And then, all right, looks like we do have Mr. Littlefield was also able to come on. Good evening. How's it going?
Good evening. Very well, thank you. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late.
No, no problem.
Delayed at work.
Eileen, I can actually rename you, I think, here.
I do have another.
I got you. You're good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's start with the first on our agenda, 3 Lewis Street. It looks like if everyone got my email this morning or afternoon, I'm not sure. Looks like the roof, through a series of events that Mr. Littlefield can walk us through, is already on the house. So over to the applicant.
So yes, I found myself in the slightly uncomfortable position of asking forgiveness rather than permission. So what happened is we actually completed a purchase and sale for a house in Reading, moving across town near to the high school, and found ourselves in a sudden need to get our house ready for sale. There's the picture. There's the current picture. So this is what the house looks like today, and that's the that's the roof. We're the contractors that we hired to help prep the house. We did so through our realtor. There was a miscommunication about the status of the application with the roofing company. They thought it was good to go, and went ahead and put on the roof while I was at work. So my wife was out of town, so I was not there. So I came home and things had changed. So that's what happened. But it looks really good, I think. I don't know if you can pass by the house.
Can you give us a flavor of how this is different from the roof that was on there?
It's essentially not. Yeah, it's just newer. So we purchased the house in 2000, and I haven't done anything with the roof since then. And for sale purposes, we thought it would add more value than it costs to replace the roofing.
Okay, and you said you're putting the it's going on the market next weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any comments from anyone on the board? Everett.
Just a comment, I believe those are architectural shingles that probably originally had 3 tab, but I'm not positive about that. I also think this was a white fence situation a little while ago, but has nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Okay, Virginia.
Well, I'd like to thank the applicant for being quite honest with the situation. Actually, I think the dock shingles are very appropriate for the house. And it seems to me that oftentimes when we get a application that for roofing, don't we often allow the chair to sign off on them without going through the process of coming to a meeting?
Yeah, I know, Everett was starting to do that the last, the last year or so, but with the new, with me and Amelia being kind of new to the chair role, I think we wanted to go through a couple meetings before we made that a decision. So we've been having the applicants come in, but definitely a topic that we can discuss for in-kind stuff later. I think if we're ready to talk about that later.
Very good.
All right, thanks, Virginia. Anyone else? All right, so it looks like, since the roof is already up, I still think we should, people, I know this happens from time to time. So if anyone I don't remember off the top of my head what we did last time, but I think it still makes sense to have a vote and if it's approved, issue the certificate, just so it's on record. That way there'll, the new owner, there will be no issues with the new owner or anything like that. And, we'll have it in the records for any future changes. Everett?
Just a comment, I don't know that they can do it with the new procedures for Amanda writing the certificate or filling in the blanks, the way it's already pre-numbered and all that sort of stuff. I used to mark them post certificate, only so that we then caught it as a situation. I don't think it makes any real difference other than the fact that that's how we used to do it. But since they're writing the certificates through the town hall now, I don't know what flexibility we have in that. That's all. Thank you.
Well, Amelia, how are you? You're drafting them and then sending them to town hall, right?
Yes, I am. I'll just check with Amanda, see if she knows where she wants me to put it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? If not, someone can make a motion on the certificate.
I'll make a motion that we accept the application for the already roofed house and good to go, and hope everybody stays dry.
All right, I will second the motion. Okay, so on Everett's motion to issue, and this would be a certificate of appropriateness, right, Everett? Is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll second Everett's motion for certificate of appropriateness for the post certificate for the roof on Lewis Street. So now we can vote. So I'll start with Greg. That's a yes. Amelia?
Yes.
Yes. Everett?
Yes.
Yes. Eileen?
Yes.
Yes. And Pino, yes. So motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Kenya?
I'd just like to mention, you were very fortunate because you got a free plug for the sale of your house and your.
Right. If
your
anyone
efforts.
knows anyone looking for a well-made up cape in the historical district of West Street, please feel free to forward them around. Yes, ma'am.
I just would ask that you mention this requirement that was not completely understood this time around to your realtor, so that when the house sells, the new owners will understand the process.
Yes, they can learn from my errors. And sir, yes, I was the white fence from a couple of years ago. And that was not a administrative miss. That was total absence of knowledge. So I apologize 3 years later for that.
Well, also, I think under that circumstances, that was the house was under 70 years at the time, just by a year or so. So that gave you the right to do it. But it's nice that people know it, only because we lost the chance to convince you that a wood fence would have been much greener and better. That's the way we happen to operate, but you had the perfect rights. I knew the property, and I've dealt with them for about 10 or 15 years now, so I know the different properties up there. Where are you moving by the high school?
To Audubon Road, right
sure.
off of Pearl.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
thank you. All right. Is there anything else that you need from me? I know probably people want to keep moving. Thank you very much. Have a good night, all.
Thank you. Oh, actually, I think we do need to vote if we're going to waive the hearing, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'll make a motion to waive the public hearing for the roof at is it 14 Lewis Street? Any second?
3 Lewis Street.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 Lewis Street.
Second.
All right, Eileen, second. All right, so this is a vote to waive the public hearing for 3 Lewis Street. So Greg? Yes. Amelia?
Yes.
Yes. Everett?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
And Pino, yes. So motion passes 5-0. So the public hearing is waived. All right. So looks like Mr. Graziosi, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, those were dead on.
All right,
Very
fine.
good.
Fellow Italian, I assume. So so this is for 218 West Street, unit number 2. And let me just pull up the application here. So this is for a wood fence, and so it looks like the application was submitted on let's see, actually this one's not dated. 5/20. And it's for a 6-foot fence with a lattice top. So Ron, over to you. Can you just walk us through your project here, please? And I'll throw
Yeah.
up the application for a picture.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I mean, you guys have approved my neighbor. As you know, this house was cut into 2 units, 2 condo units. So my neighbor did the other side of his, and I was looking to do the oh, you still there? Sorry. And looking to do the my side and just trying to match the fence up with what he had. So it'd be coming off the side of the house, approximately, I think it was 16 feet. I think I measured out, or had the fence guy measure out from West Street to the fence. And as it came down Westcroft, you're looking at just about 10 feet, between 8 and 10 feet from Westcroft to the side yard. I think we measured 10 feet because that's what the neighbor across the street did. And that fence would taper down to the driveway down to about 4 feet. But aesthetically, it would be matching exactly to what Justin did next door.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see the pictures here?
Yes.
All right. Any comments from any commission members?
Question,
Sure, Eileen.
is this a wood fence?
Yeah, it's exactly what you see in the pictures, what my immediate neighbor has. So
Yeah.
I would contract the same company to do the same fence style. So
Very
everything was symmetric and looked correct.
Very nice.
All right. And you already said, but same height, right? Same height as the existing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, quite honestly, I'm paying a little bit more to match the fence up more than I wanted to, but
A little
if
higher.
that's what, I'm obviously willing to do that. I'd like to kind of match up. And I know that's important to the town, that everything kind of looks symmetric and looks good.
All right, Virginia.
I had a question along the, went Westcroft roadside. Will you be able to retain the shrubbery that exists currently?
The shrubbery, unfortunately, will either be in the inside or taken out. I'm having issues with those, where the Appropriateness, the trees.
Mhm.
They keep dying. I've replanted 3 of them. They keep dying. I can't keep them. The 2 down the end, which you can't see in the picture, were put in by the builder, and those are dying off now as well. For some reason or another, those on Westcroft won't hold.
Very good, thank you.
All right. Excuse me. All right. Anyone else? Greg.
Yeah. What's the distance from the sidewalk to the fence? I can't see the picture now.
So from the sidewalk, I didn't measure, but from West Street coming off the side of the house, I have it in the kind of the drawing that I did. I think it was measured out at 16 feet from the end of the sidewalk to where the fence would be, which is exactly what the neighbor had next door. So it wouldn't be in front of the house, it'd be coming off the side of the house.
Okay. Okay, so that shrubbery on the corner there, that's staying?
Some of it there'll be some that I'll stay and move forward, and others will be in the inside, but a lot of that shrubbery is going to stay, because I'm going to push it out just a little bit. It's one of them you can't tell from the picture. One of them is already out.
Okay, Westcroft. Okay, so it's pretty close to the street, the sidewalk.
Yeah, it'd be exactly the same as what my next door neighbor has. I didn't measure exactly what from where the fence is to the start of the sidewalk, just to the end of the sidewalk, which was the 16 feet. There'll be, like I said, it's coming off the side of the house. It's not in front of the house. So there's still going to be greenery and shrubbery there and grass there. It's not butting up against the sidewalk.
All right, so it's going to be close. It's coming off the house where that entrance is. I can't see that picture again, but. Do you walk up that?
So you see this picture in the top right? You see where the side of the house is? So it'll be coming off where that shrubbery is. That tree, the first tree you see there is actually in front of the house. The one behind it is not, but I can move it. It's not a big deal. But so to come off exactly, basically attached to the side of the house and just travel down. I think it's only like something like 7 panels or 8 panels anyway.
Okay. So it's going right down to the sidewalk and then all the way down the sidewalk and then into the driveway too?
Yeah, shoot it down Westcroft, and I'm going to taper it down as I get down Westcroft into the driveway. So it'll go from 6 feet to about 4 feet.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Everett?
Was wondering, I think the left side has a gate in it. Is the right side going to have a gate in it or not needed?
No, it's not needed just because I have access from my driveway. So it's not
Right.
needed to have the gate in the front.
You'll have to walk all the way around your fence.
There's a front door as well for both units, which is not in the picture.
Yeah, but if you're outside, you'll either have to go through the house or around the fence.
Correct, yeah.
So, yeah, that's fine. I only asked because if you were putting a gate in there and I didn't remember whether it was here, it needs to be specified in the instructions. The town a couple of years ago was considering watching for blockages on the drawing. I don't know where the corner would be out on the corner of West Street and Westcroft. They had what was called a 25-foot diagonal. So if you took the corner of your property and went back 25 feet, which is a long way, and then down Westcroft 25 feet, nothing was supposed to be in that diagonal, that triangle that would be blocking the view of the street. They're having quite a bit of problem with encroaching on corners. So I just, I don't know. I don't think it would, but it might be close.
It's set back enough. I can tell you it's not 25 feet, but it's set back enough. And again, as you guys know, there's lights there and, no
Right.
turns on reds and all that kind of stuff anyway. The beeping noise, but I don't think it's because it's set back a little bit. I don't think it's going to have an issue with the corner.
Right, but I just to be aware of it, I would, there's no ordinance on it right now. It's the car visibility coming around the corner for, walkers and stuff like that and other cars.
Sure.
Yeah, just make sure it's not a problem. Thank you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm trying, as you can well imagine, I'm trying to get, obviously some privacy and obviously some additional safety for myself and my daughter who live here.
Right.
And on top of that, people don't like to pick up after their dogs a lot.
Hey. Anybody who owns property in the town of Reading where there's a sidewalk, it's awesome.
So I'm looking, it's more, number one, it's, and aesthetically, I'm trying to match exactly what was done next door. So everything would kind of be symmetrical.
Good.
Virginia?
Well, I'd just like to compliment you on going from the house edge, because that is something that we really stressed for your neighbor's fence. And I think it looks great, the existing fence. So I'm sure yours will complement and make the whole property look very compatible for a historic district.
I appreciate that. His fence really does look good.
All right, so Ron, so we're gonna take two votes. So the first vote's gonna be to issue whether or not to issue a certificate of appropriateness, and then the next vote is gonna be if we have to hold a public hearing on this. Now, the standard to waive the public hearing is if we determine that it's the fence is insubstantial in its effect on the district. Now, I did go back and see what we did for the fence. It looks like it was back in October for the fence that's already there, and it looks like we did waive the public hearing for that one. But you're still required, if we decide that again, to send out an abutters notice in the town.
Okay.
And we can help you walk through that. So there is a 10-day. Once the notice goes out, we do have to wait 10 days before we can actually issue the certificate, if that's the route that we end up going. But
Okay.
But again, that's looking forward a couple minutes. So first, I'll make a motion to accept the application for a wood 6-foot wood lattice fence for 218 West Street, unit number 2. Any second?
I'll second it.
All right, Everett second, so we can vote. So I'll start with Greg.
Yes.
Yes. Everett,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
and Amelia,
Yes.
and Pino, yes. So motion to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the fence passes 5-0. All right,
Fantastic.
so I can share the I have the certificate from the last fence. So I'll just share that real quick on here. Any discussion on requirements for a public hearing? So again, it looks like we waived the public hearing last time. And here was the abutters notice that went out.
Ooh, I signed that one.
Yep.
Sorry.
Everett, go ahead.
Just as a comment, since the town doesn't require a permit for the construction of fencing, providing it's 6 feet or under, I feel that we do not have to have a public hearing. I feel it's perfectly fine to go with notifying the abutters in the 300-foot range. I guess that's what it is. And I'd be happy to make a motion to that effect.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Everett, why don't you go ahead and make the motion, then we can talk about it again if we need to.
I make a motion that we waive the public hearing for 218 West Street, number 2 unit, but still maintain the notification for the abutters.
I'll second the motion. All right, so we can vote on the motion to waive the public hearing, and I'll start with Greg.
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Amelia,
Yes.
Everett,
Yes,
and I'll vote yes. So motion to waive the public hearing passes 5-0. So so usually we have Julie on these that'll walk you through the abutters letter. So Amelia, can you jump in if I muck this up? So you do have to send out an abutters notice to houses within 300 feet. And then there is that 10-day period. Were you provided with that list, or when you submitted the application, or did you have any back and forth with the town on that?
I was supplied the list. The town had asked me to wait just for the until the approval process was finished.
Okay, so we can send, Amelia, you should work with Amanda on that, right? Does she do okay. So I'll, during this meeting, I'll email, I'll send Amanda a note and CC the applicant on there, and she can walk you through the
Awesome.
And then assuming nobody, we don't get any responses, we can issue the notice 10 days after the mailing goes out.
Okay, great. So what are the, are there typically any issues with the abutters list, or is it typically pretty smooth?
It's usually pretty smooth. You know, each one's
All right,
different,
cool.
but usually there's little issue.
Okay, perfect.
that's calendar days, by the way, not business days.
That's even better.
That's right.
They keep
Although,
raising the price of the fence. I haven't put the deposit in yet because I didn't know if I was approved.
just one thing about the timing, which is that town hall is closed tomorrow. So I can write the abutters letter and get it to Amanda, but she won't be doing anything with it until early next week.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks for, I know we had, I don't know if I sent a wrong email, but I don't think we connected till
This morning.
this morning. So again, thank you for attending, and hope the fence works out, and good luck.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, neighbor.
Have a good one.
Pino, can we go back to that abutters letter from the other unit for a second?
I was taking that high go for all the side.
Do you all need me to stay on, or should I kick off?
No, you can go now.
All
I mean,
right.
we're happy to have you, but feel free.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So I just was looking at this abutters letter, which I will just adapt in this case, but what are the directionals? So the other fence is on the southeast corner of the building. So this is on the which corner? Everett?
It's on the northeast
All right.
corner
Okay,
of the house. paralleling West Street
Mhm.
and then perpendicular and paralleling
Westcroft.
Westcroft.
Okay. And then the part about the gate is moot because he's not doing a gate.
That's right.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm all set. Thanks.
You're muted, Mr. Pino.
All right, sorry. So moving on to the third item on our agenda is 178 West Street. I believe we do have the applicant has signed on.
Hi, my name is Huba Seceni. Hi, everyone.
Hi, how you doing? All right, sir, can you walk us through your project, please?
Sorry, it was to me. Sorry.
Yeah, can you just
Yes,
give us
sorry
an
about it.
introduction what you're planning to do? Thank you.
Yeah. So what we're planning to do is install a swim spa, which is similar to a normal hot tub, but a little bit longer. The swim spa size is 15 feet by 90 inch, and it will be from next door building to the right side if you look at or from the street. The height of the swim spa is 48 inches, so 4 feet. This is a standalone, completely like a normal hot spa would be. So there's no changes to sinking it into the ground or anything like that. We already have a fencing around this area. This is a patio area that is fenced around with a picket fence in line with the historic district recommendation. It's a wooden fence, picket wooden fence. I believe I attached some pictures to my application as well. And so the actual spa would not be visible from the street. It would, we wanted to make sure it's private from the area. This patio area or the fence itself as well is about 12 feet away from the closest neighbor, and on the other side from the actual neighbor property line. From an environmental point of view, I spoke to, I believe, I can't remember his name from the top of my head, but everything else meets the normal, environmental requirements. But as obviously as part of the application, I wanted to put through this here as well. I'm really not familiar. I'm really sorry. This is the first time I'm putting through an application, and I just tried to read through all the requirements that was online. So in a nutshell, that's basically the applications we have to install that.
All right, thank you. And, again, thank you for, taking the time to do the research and submitting the application. Now, I'm going through my email again. I have the application up. I didn't, were the pictures a separate file? I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I was trying to upload their individual files as well, but maybe I can share it on my screen here.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Can I do that? Just hold on a second. I'm doing it on an iPad, so a little bit different, just a normal meeting. How do I share a screen here? Well, actually, I can take you outside. Maybe that's the easiest one is just take my iPad and show you the outside area.
Okay.
Maybe we can be practical to come along. So just changing my camera to outside. So I'm just coming out from my front here.
Number of the house again, Pino?
Yeah. I'm just gonna-
178.
178 West Street. So that's the house. That's the fenced private area.
Okay,
So the fence is 6 feet high, and again, it's a wooden fence. I'm gonna go into the area where we actually already had delivered this. It's not installed, but this is the actual swim spa. So it's gonna be in this area. It's about 10 feet obviously from the wall here. But as you can see, it's not visible from the outside at all. On the other side, we have a smaller 4 feet high gate, keeping this again just a closed down area. Although the swim spa has a heavy standard hot spa cover, which can be locked down and everything. And we're still going to add some more security, the gate security, the children can't just come in here. And in the back, we have this deck, and that's where we planning to get into here. So I'm not really sure what else you need to know. But again, that's a wooded area that is part of our property, but it's a unusable area. And I'm not sure what else I can show you there.
All right, I think Amelia had a question.
Once it's installed and hooked up, will any of the cables or electrical stuff be visible?
No, not at
outside the
all.
fence?
So, yeah, so basically, what we're planning to do is it will be hooked up here in this area, down here, and the tubing, is going to be a pipe that goes in the back of the fence all the way here on the corner, and from the corner is going to be underground 1 feet, I believe is what it needs to be, which will come back to the house here underground and go under the deck. So the only area there would be to your point, the pipeline might be, the piping of the electrical could be visible is really here in the back, which will be just close to, but it will be right on the fence itself from the side. Then on top of that, the only other thing, which from an electrical code point of view, we need to have, there will be a box here where you can, I don't know what it's called, like a jump box, or like similar to as we have the air conditioning, we have to have this box here, similar to this, where you can just switch it off.
But that too will be low enough on the house that it won't be visible from outside the fence.
That will be on the side of the fence, yeah. So it won't be visible. You're concerned about whether it's visible from outside or?
Yes. So
From the
we're not gonna
street.
see the spa, but will we see any cables?
The street, because, yeah, no, you're not gonna see any cables, and especially that is actually very far from the street. So we have, even if we put it on that side, I mean, we can put the tubing inside if you think that's the better way for this. But this side of the fence is really not visible for anyone from the street. We have a big wooded area on this side completely, which, the next neighbor is about 200, 300 feet away from us. The only property that is close to us is our neighbors here, where we have this area that is about 18 feet to their property line.
Actually,
But again, if your concern is not to have that piping outside, that's fine. We can really have it inside, and it's still going to be in on the fence itself on this side.
no, I understand that the piping will be ground level. The question was more about the electrical box on the side of the house. Is it going to be low enough to the ground that we won't see it from outside?
Oh, no, because this is going to be here, see? This is going to be about 4 feet high here.
Okay.
And that's where the street is. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
Any other questions?
By the way, sorry, if I can have a quick question on this. If
Sure.
you know, I have an electric car, and one of the projects I'm thinking is to get it a home charger set up here. And is that important? That's also not visible from the road. Then, just something to bear in mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that would be new to us.
Okay.
And that's definitely worth a discussion. I know for solar panels, we really have no say over solar panels. So that may fall into the same kind of category.
I just,
that'd be a
that's fine. I
discussion.
can ask around. I just thought you might just know from top of your head. So
No,
no worries.
Much like this is the first virtual tour that we've been given over Zoom. So thank you.
Right.
They're extremely, I feel like we should mandate them now because it's very helpful.
Well, I think that's
Pictures.
just, you know, this definitely explains better when you have a on-site visit instead of just on paper and something. Yeah, for sure.
And the reason that Amelia was asking, you know, we really have purview when it's from a view of a public way. So whenever you can see something from a public way, that's why if this seems like it's completely hidden. Any other, Everett, go ahead.
I just scooted upstairs to get my book of pictures because I need to visualize the whole house and the lot. That house sits way back away from the street.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough to be about 120 something feet away from the road. It's one of the nice things about this house. Yeah.
Right. So that makes the visibility almost impossible.
Yeah, no,
unless we get out our drone and
unless you do that
and go in. I noticed there's a pair of gates on the front there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Are you planning on washing your car and having a submission, you know, sub spot that
No.
will let your car down into the
no,
spa?
this was just really added for. I think that it was really practical to have there, but we have never parked the car in there, or we're planning to use that area for that. But to be honest, we were quite lucky because it was just wide enough to get the spa in. It was 95 feet, sorry, inches wide, and the spa is 90 inch wide, so we didn't have to remove anything for getting it in. So again, but yeah, this is a double gate that opens up, and again, it's just for more practical reasons if you need to bring in some larger things in here.
Right. Yeah. Again, concerned on safety with younger kids. That's all.
Yeah. So this is again, it can be lockable here as well. So they can't really. We're gonna put again. It's not yet operational, of course. So we just got it delivered sooner than we expected. But yeah, it will have all the locks and everything in there to make sure that no kids can come in here. But again, on top of that, this is really heavy. I don't know if you have seen hot spas before. It's the same thing. It's just bigger, and it has like a locker on these ones as well on top of it. So even if they get into this area, you can make sure that they can't really open it up without the key.
All right, go ahead, Virginia.
Well, I was curious as to when the fence was installed. I'm not sure we can reprimand people, but I don't recall that we had a hearing on the installation of the fence, which can be seen from the street. Is there any data on when that fence was installed?
Yeah, no, I have to own up to that. That's actually my fault. I didn't realize that we needed to ask these permissions before. I know it's not a good excuse since we've been living here for 5 years, but to be honest, I never lived in, before that we didn't live in the US. So I just caught up and I'm like, hang on a second, I should have really got the permission for this one as well. But yeah, this was built last year.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely. That there was no paperwork on that. I have to own up to that. Yeah.
Virginia.
I appreciate your honesty. When we write a certificate for this or non-applicability or something, I'd like to have that reference that the fence was installed without a certificate, just so that we'll keep it straight in our books as well.
All right, Virginia, do you want to say the motion then, and you can include that language in it? You're associate.
No.
Sorry. Okay. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Great.
I assume that the town is going to have, I don't know, it's going to have inspections, codes and stuff, because of wiring and plumbing, and this thing doesn't sit down into the ground, does it? It just stays up there?
No, this is just basically, as you saw there, it's a one piece. It's almost like an above ground pool, but it requires much less installation. So there's no plumbing. The only thing requires is electrical work. So that's I've got an electrician hired who's going to be putting in the coding, the application for that already. But yeah, it will be inspected, and it needs to be inspected in that part. But other than the electrical work, nothing else is as far as I know needed. There's no plumbing, definitely, that it's required.
Okay.
Greg.
Somehow I thought it set down into the ground, but I guess it doesn't.
Yeah,
That means since it's only a 6-foot fence, when you get up on the stepladder to get into it, you're going to be visible from the street.
Unless I duck down for some reason, but yes, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
Greg, did you have your hand up?
Hi, Huba. It's Greg, your neighbor. I don't think we ever officially met, especially with all COVID stuff. But thank you for coming in front of the board for this. And like you were saying, your driveway is so long. You can never even hardly even notice the fence, let alone you won't even notice the swim spa. So I would have no problem with that. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So anyone else? All right. So it looks like we're gonna have a motion for a certificate of non-applicability, and for the applicant, that's when we can't see it from the street, basically. So it doesn't.
Great. Okay.
So we're saying it doesn't apply under our, jurisdiction, I guess you can say. All right. Does anyone want to make a motion for that?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll put a motion on the floor to allow for a certificate of non-applicability for installation of a sun spa to be installed behind the side gated area. I don't know what other verbiage we need.
And Virginia wanted that verbiage, just a note about the fence.
Yeah, I'm going to stab at that, Everett.
Everett, go ahead.
Well, I guess we need to do that. Just make a, I don't know what you call it, an amendment to it, that the fencing was added a prior year ago with no issuing of a certificate of appropriateness at the time. I have a question, Pino, on visibility. Fencing, we obviously do a permit for, a certificate for. If it were like shrubs come and go. If there were fencing, might come and go. I don't know. Under normal circumstances, if the fence wasn't there, which might be required, I understand that for something of this sort, that would be visible from the street. Normally, when we've said it's not visible, it's like at the back of a house, something, just because it's far away from the sidewalk. I just don't know whether it falls under non-applicable or applicable. I don't think it really makes too much difference, but all of a sudden, if the fence fell down, I don't know if we consider fencing a permanent structure. Maybe we turn to a historian, knowledgeable reference person, Virginia, to tell us how she feels about that.
Just a minute, I'll look it up.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, it's a good point. Obviously if, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I'm just trying to look through if there's a definition of view
Yeah,
from.
I don't know how clear that is, and I don't know if we've ever had this sort of a circumstances come up, but I know we don't talk about trees and shrubs as being permanent features. I just don't know whether to talk about fences as permanent features or not.
Right,
I
because
would,
sorry, go ahead, Virginia.
no, I would view that they are not permanent structures because fences usually have a certain lifetime and then they rot off too.
So something about as long as the fence is maintained or something like that has to be in there, maybe. Again, I don't know. I don't think the town would allow you to have that sun feature, spa, swim feature, whatever it is, spa,
Yeah.
without
No,
fencing.
that's well, I think, yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. Absolutely. I agree. That's to be honest, it's also from whoever using it point of view as well. I think a spa you don't want to use publicly either.
No, it's not to make you
But
make
yeah,
it
no,
public.
but I definitely agree with you.
It's
probably
to
should
keep
be
it
there.
safe
Yep.
and to make sure that
Yep.
that whole, maybe
Yeah,
we should
it's not
include the
visible
fence
from the-
with the application and say, okay, you're gonna keep this, it's gonna be keep intact as a total. I just don't know how to
and yeah, I think
handle it.
that could be. I don't know if that's again, it's already installed, so that's it is already there. So, but to the previous point, it was not authorized. So maybe we can, cover both of those if we included it
I
here as well.
I just want it to be right. I have no problem with it at all. I just want
No,
it to be the
understood.
best that it
Understood.
can be.
Yes.
You don't have to have a permit for that for the town, from the town,
For what?
for the swim spa?
No, so I have a building permit for that. So because they need to also check a couple of other things, whether it's some of the things I mentioned, that it's 10 feet from the building, and it's not more than not less than 5 feet from a property line, things like that.
You have an
Yeah, so
application in for that,
Yes, I do.
but not a permit for it yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay, that's because to me, that's a little different. I'm hoping they give you a permit.
Yeah. So the way it came to the committee is because I put that permit in, and then they opened up a section on there for the historic district committee as well, as I believe.
Right.
I'm not sure the process, but that's how it looked like on the online forms.
Well, I don't live in a historic district, but I'll give you $10 for the unit if town won't let you put it in.
Fair enough.
So I don't know, Pino, if this helps or really, really muddies the waters.
Muddies it. So I got a couple thoughts though.
Yeah.
So, it's not explicit in the bylaws, but I mean, I know it says temporary structure in the bylaws, but that's for instances where they're going to put up an outhouse for 6 months while they're doing construction or something. But it does say a temporary structure is something not to be in existence for a period of more than 1 year. So a fence is definitely not a temporary structure. And then with regard to seen from a public way, it basically just says, we can look at exterior architectural features such as a building or structure as is open to view from a public way or ways. Again, it doesn't say if a fence blocking it prevents that. And then in our guidelines, it says, I just had it. Hold on 1 second. In our guidelines, it mentions, it says the review process will only be extended to the form and detail that are perceptible from a public way, but it is the commission's authority to determine whether a property and certain features are visible from a public way and to proceed with the review when appropriate. It's not crystal clear, but it's a good point. Because I guess theoretically, I don't know why anyone would ever want to do this, but I guess they could get a certificate from us to put up a fence, put something ridiculous behind it that we would never approve if you could see it from a public way, and then tear the fence down, then you can see it. I don't know why anyone would spend that money, but they could do that, I guess, theoretically, if they wanted to.
Yeah. Would it be, I think it's a little stronger for a certificate of appropriateness than a certificate of non-applicability. So therefore, if we did a certificate of appropriateness instead of a certificate of non-applicability, because it is technically visible from the street, fence, no fence, and then waived the public hearing under the grounds that there is a fence there. And I think it's a little stronger
Okay.
than
And then
saying non-applicable.
And then if the fence ever comes down or they take it down for some reason, we would be able to kind of revisit it.
Yes.
Okay. Does that sound all right? I think that sounds fair
It
enough.
sounds a little stronger to me than just saying it's non-applicable.
Sure. Okay.
Because I really think it's applicable in some particular way. For a lot of different reasons, safety, wiring, structure.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be there more than a year too. Sure.
I hope so.
All right, correct. So do you want to amend your, or do you want to redo your motion and just make into a certificate of appropriateness?
All right, I'll put a motion on the floor for a certificate of appropriateness for the sun spa installation to be installed behind the gated area, and the gate must always be there.
The fencing must always be there.
The fencing must always be there.
I'll second that.
All right, second. So we can vote. So I'll start with Eileen. Yes. Amelia.
Yes.
Yes. Everett.
Yes.
Greg. And I vote yes. So a motion for certificate of appropriateness passes 5-0. We already discussed. So next step is to waive the public hearing. Does anyone? So Everett, am I supposed to have is someone supposed to make the motion before we discuss the waiver, or can we discuss it before and then we make the motion and vote?
I only did this for 8 years. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about this stuff before. So, all right. So does anyone, we kind of already talked about, does anyone have any issues with waiving the public hearing or any commentary on that? Okay. So all right. I make a motion to waive the public hearing for the swim spa at 178 West Street. Any seconds?
Second.
All right, so we can do roll call vote. So Greg? Yes. Amelia?
Yes.
Yes. Eileen? Yes. Everett?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. All right, so the public hearing is waived, but I'm not sure if you heard the ending of our last applicant. There still is the abutters process. Have you had any correspondence with the town regarding the abutters list?
Yes, so they gave me a list of all these names and labels, and so I assume there from this meeting there will be a letter to be including and sending out to these neighbors.
Right.
And then I pay some fees, so they send it out, or is it something I have to send out and mail out to everyone? I wasn't really sure about that.
I believe that Everett, go ahead.
Well, once you, they'll stuff the letters, but you provide the envelopes.
Okay, I see. Okay.
And you put the stamps on them, but do not put a return address. Do not put your return address in the corner.
Yes. Yeah.
They will stamp it. They'll put the envelopes together, and they'll notify you that they've been sent out. Then it has to wait 10 calendar days, and then if there's no concerns raised by your neighbors that they're jealous, that
I invite them. I tell them just come along.
Well, I'm a neighbor, I'm just down the street.
Yeah. There you go.
Actually, you're up the hill. They'll issue the certificate of appropriateness, and I do feel appropriateness is better than a non-applicability in this case. So that's why I stepped in a little bit. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your help. And
Huba, one thing before you go, just note that town hall is closed tomorrow. So the abutters letter that I will write and give to Amanda to go in your envelopes,
Yeah.
that process won't happen until early next week.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Again, thanks everyone's time. I really appreciate your help with this.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye.
evening.
You
Bye.
too. All right.
Before we move on to the next thing, just a question about what stuff has to go in which document. So the abutters letter, I should say we're waiving the hearing because the fence is in place and therefore nobody's going to see the unit. And then Everett, how would you put the bit in about the fence that was installed without a certificate of appropriateness on the certificate that gets issued?
If anything, I would put it in just as a comment like we did before, that this is a notification for our Sun Spa going in on a previously installed fence.
Mhm.
Just put it as a comment down in the paragraph. I don't think you have to put out as a separate, this fence has not had an approval from us or anything like that.
So that's in the abutters letter or on the certificate of appropriateness or both?
Definitely on the certificate of appropriateness.
Mhm.
On the abutters letter, you're kind of like opening a can of worms to tell everybody else that we gave something else through. I'd kind of just say
Okay.
it would be behind the
So
fence.
just on the certificate. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Kind of a
Yeah, good point.
kind of an interesting situation, and this is such a continuous learning process. And part of the reason that it's been so interesting is I can't remember how much I can remember anymore or can't remember anymore. So it's so important to keep notes and this stuff so that we can go back, because this is a really learning process to make this district. We set precedent every time we let something develop, you know, and it's really important. And it very easily gets away from us. I'm having difficulty with this dichotomy of the 70 years, because the heck, they can do whatever they want, you know?
No, I disagree. They really can't do anything they want. It's just held to a different standard.
Right, but the
That's-
outside public doesn't see it that way. That's the problem I'm having, I guess, really, when I center it down. They put up a fence, well, they're under 70 years. Well, so what? I'm 71 years, you know, they don't, it's just hard to watch it. So it's good to keep good notes and hope that it, again, I think the certificate explains a lot if we stop and read them in the past. I knew immediately the instant I saw he took his iPad outside. Oh, that fence, I don't normally see it. I didn't see it.
Yep.
I knew it immediately.
And it even looks new.
Right. And that's why I really wondered how new it really was. And Virginia, you are brave enough to ask. I'm non-confrontational lately. So, okay.
So it seems like we just kind of set the precedent that, you know, anything that's blocked by a fence is gonna fall under the appropriateness, you know, scope. And really, maybe just the house has to be blocking something or some other angle somehow where it's not viewed from the public way, other than the fence, which is fine. Yeah.
It gets pushed a little bit. Well, it's in the backyard. That doesn't mean it's not visible,
Right.
especially if you're on a corner. And he's so far back here. Again, the house is over 100 feet back. It's off the road. So I think this, again, it's very interesting to see how it all develops.
Okay. And I think
Thank
we're
you.
going to have a further conversation maybe later. You know, Virginia wanted to talk about, we have a couple new technology areas when another one just came up, split levels, charging stations now.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Yeah, Virginia.
I believe we had a application for 220 West Street. And I don't see that on the agenda. And frankly, unless I go back through all my emails, the email came in on 6/3/21. They're going to move a side door through a window. Is that anything we should be discussing now or wait till it's on the agenda?
Oh, was that? I don't know if I even read that email yet, to be honest with you. You're not talking about the split level one that came in yesterday and the guy can't attend. This is moving a door or a window?
No. Oh, no, I don't think so. I'm joining Everett because we both get mixed up now. Did anybody, I can email you later with it because I do recall seeing the picture of the stairs, the exterior stairs, and that they were moving the door over to one adjacent window. Does that ring bells for anyone?
Nope. I don't even know what 220 is. What number is it?
Oh, Virginia, it's 220 Woburn and it's RHC, it's Historical Commission.
Okay. I apologize then.
No problem.
Makes our agenda easier.
That's
So
why I didn't see it.
Yep.
All right, well, let's do 186 summer and then we can talk, because I do want to talk about the application that we got, but it didn't make the agenda because it was after the agenda was posted, and then number two, or
Right.
I think we got it on Tuesday, and then the gentleman, I believe Alex, said he's he was doing some coaching, so he couldn't attend, so it didn't make it to the agenda, but we can talk about that one after, because that's another one where he said, I had some correspondence with him, he said nothing is visible because it's all behind a fence.
Oh,
What number is this?
Hold on. Well, this was hold on one second.
146 maybe?
Yeah, 146.
Yeah, 146 West. So let's stick to the agenda and we could talk about this one during the new business, because it didn't make it to the agenda. This was sent in on Tuesday afternoon. Okay, so 186 summer. So Julie sent, I think I forwarded to everyone. Let me know if you didn't get it. Julie forwarded the revised letter that town council made some edits to, and that's the joint letter from this commission, the historical commission, to 186 summer.
Can I just say, in the paragraph talking about the inspection, that's me standing outside on the sidewalk looking at the house. And I think that probably people who know the house better should look at what I saw and tell me whether there's stuff I missed, because I'm sure that there is.
I'm going to pull up the letter.
Okay. Oh, also, do we know how long the house has been absent? Vacant?
Vacant?
Yeah. I put November 2016 because I pulled that from some other letter, but I don't know if that's accurate.
I'd have to go through the files.
So I found online, now I don't remember what it said. I can pull the date for when they closed on the house.
Oh, okay.
That might be the best we can do.
Yes.
Do you know how long she was living there through this whole process?
No, she was a long-term resident before she sold.
Right, but did she live in the house right up to when she closed to sell it, or was she out of there before?
I think it was pretty close. Pretty close, but yeah.
Okay, I'll look that back up, and then that's that same paragraph that I'm asking you about there with the November 2016 highlighted. Later in the paragraph, there's my description of what I saw, which I definitely need some help with.
Okay.
So, Amelia, with regard to what they changed,
yep,
So they just crossed out that paragraph and
They
Rewrote
actually
it.
just
paragraph underneath.
moved, yeah, they moved the paragraph, and then the kicker, of course, I didn't even notice till Julie mentioned this out or earlier, but instead of what we thought that the certificate of appropriateness would expire on August 15th of this year, the real number is September 12th of next year, 2022.
Oh, I saw September. I just assumed it was this
I
September.
did too.
22.
I did too.
I wonder-
So
we should probably confirm that to see if that's it was a typo or not.
And that's because of the emergency
Yeah.
right,
declaration for COVID.
before you all came on, I guess just Virginia was on, she said, Julie said that she was sorry that she spoke off the cuff and she thought she understood how it worked, but really the extension has to be as long as the state of emergency. So that's why it gets us into next year.
Ugh. Another excuse for him to rattle.
Yeah. So, that, I don't know, do we even put this in now? Do we just go with the PRA and leave the stuff about the certificate of appropriateness out because it's pushed out so far? Or do we say, we want to talk about the PRA and, oh, by the way, this other thing is coming too?
I kind of like just focusing on the PRA.
I do too.
Yeah, if they see September 2022, you're not gonna hear from them. They'll say, oh, we have another year to wait, and then we'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Then we'll give them an answer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Virginia, what do you think?
I'll go along with everybody else.
Okay, so I'll take that paragraph out then. But still, I'll check the November 2016 date and then still, maybe this isn't the right time, but if those of you who know the house well, because you did this the first time, could look at that list of things that I saw and see if there's anything important missing. And then and I showed this to Jonathan because Jonathan's editor extraordinaire. And he added the bit about deterioration at the back north side, which I did not see. And I'm not sure belongs because you won't be able to see that from summer, which is what I said. And then my next question was, I brought one of my girls along and I made them take notes. My next question was, if we go behind to Parker and look at the house from that direction, is that count as a public way or that does not?
Yes, it does.
That does count as a public way.
Yes.
Definitely.
We went through this with them and
Several times.
won that argument. So
Okay, because I went over there and I walked up to the fence behind Parker.
yeah.
And it's summer practically, so there was pretty dense foliage, and I'm not exactly sure what I was looking at was our house. However, it was all boarded up and it looked horrible, so I assumed that it was.
Okay.
And I could
the
include
barn.
that too. Yeah, I could include that too, that from Parker, you can see the deterioration on the back of the barn. But maybe y'all can look at that and let me know.
I just quickly looked at it and I'm not having any real problems with it. It's going to be hard to say it's missing roof shingles. It was missing roof shingles. It's missing more roof shingles. And can we prove that? I'd have to go and sit with some letters there. I think,
Well, the ones I saw were near the chimney on the driveway side.
right,
Of the
near the
house.
edge.
Yep.
Near the edge of,
Yep.
those have been there, but I think it's worse. Maybe a piece of one has come off. I would use the word maintenance in there. The
Okay.
property has had no maintenance. And maybe
Well,
even,
Excuse me, but they'll argue that by boarding it up, that was maintenance.
no, and then we follow it up by incurring repair of trim, repair of priming and painting, scraping, priming and painting, pointing on the chimney, anything we want to put in there, it's had no maintenance. It doesn't, they can say anything they want. It doesn't gonna stop me from saying they haven't done what they said they would do, and that was maintenance. They were supposed to maintain the building.
Right.
So somehow spin that into the topic sentence then?
Right.
Okay.
Well, do we need to itemize all of our concerns in this letter? Or is it better to see if we can get them with us and then pound them when we're in person?
That's kind of what I was thinking. If we use the word maintenance and didn't really tack down what specifically they were supposed to have done, that leaves everything open for us to keep tagging them and saying, well, you haven't
Right.
done anything with the shingles. You haven't done anything with the pointing. You didn't fix the porch.
Right.
Although the porch is definitely one that the sagging in the porch that it specifies. But instead of getting very specific in there, I'd leave it as maintenance, a requirement of your preservation restriction document or whatever it is. And then gives us some time to go count shingles and look at areas that have not maintained and stuff.
Although then you've got a letter that's like 2 sentences. Is that what you want me to send?
Well, I don't know.
Because if we take out the entire paragraph about the certificate of appropriateness, because it's no longer like a smoking gun, all you have is, we're worried that you're not maintaining the structure and that they're deteriorating, and the preservation restriction agreement said you had to maintain it. Come talk to us.
Well, that's what I was saying. Do we put those items in and we'll get a better count of them later, or we'll come up with more for later?
Yeah, I
think
like
that's fine
what's
too.
in there. I like what's in there. I know it doesn't list everything, but I think it definitely helps to I kind of like the paragraph as it is. We're not gonna send a 2-sentence paragraph. I think that the paragraph detailing
I think if I'm looking back at the preservation, though, the word was maintenance. It always came out to me that they're not doing any maintenance on the building. Mowing the grass is not doing maintenance on the building.
How about if it says we recently conducted a visual inspection from Summer Ave and we observed evidence of the deterioration and lack of maintenance of the house's exterior characteristics or something like that.
As required by your certificate of appropriateness, if that's what it says.
You mean
For example,
the PRA, not the certificate?
Well, that's what I think. I'd have to go get the PR to look at it again to see if it uses the word maintenance.
Oh, yes, it does, because I quoted from it, right? Oh, maybe not that part.
And I know we can come up with additional things which are harder to verify as maintenance. For example, the shrubs and the trees out by the barn and around the front.
Can I
by the
talk,
porch.
please?
Needs to be, that affects the foundation of the building, the root system. So that's all I have to say about it.
Sorry, Eileen, I couldn't see you in the screen share. I can only see like 4 people at a time. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, now I can't see myself. So,
I'll get rid of, you want me to get rid of the letter? Stop sharing it for a bit?
all right. Well, my point is, I have all these documents that we have had. Now I can't find myself here on this thing. Hold on. Or I'm just going to give up on this anyway.
Yeah, we can hear it just fine.
Okay, if you can hear me, I have all the documents. I have the preservation agreement. I have the pictures. Now, if we could just somehow get together and compare what Amelia observed and what the pictures have been dated August of 2015, perhaps it would make some more sense. I mean, we're talking about things that nobody can see at the moment. I also have pictures from the visual of January, I think it was 2018. So you can compare that, that segment, 2015, 2018, and now 2021. What does concern me on, I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. What does concern me on The preservation agreement is one paragraph called extinguishment. And this could wipe everything right off the table if I'm looking at this properly. Now, if anybody has that document, it's paragraph 26 and it's called extinguishment.
And what page of the document is it on?
Right now, I don't have the pagination of it. There's no pagination on it.
Is it at the beginning or is it the middle or at the end? You have any idea at all?
Well, it goes through this whole thing of, and I have a date that I wrote on here of 9/5/17. And it has the terms and the maintenance, and it just keeps going, number and letter and sub paragraphs under them. But this extinguishment thing, just, if you permit me to read some of it. Grantor and grantee hereby recognize that an unexpected change in conditions surrounding the property may make impossible the continued grantorship or use of the property for the purpose of this restriction, whatever that may be, right? And necessitate extinguishment of the restriction. Such a change in conditions may include, but is not limited to, partial or total destruction of the building resulting from casualty. Well, is casualty weather?
Yes.
Neglect? So, I mean, I can see this vacating the whole thing.
It's, if anybody has a copy, it's on page 14. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Oh, you found it?
Well, Greg, no, Pino put it up, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is pretty standard in restrictive covenants. So I don't see that it's a threat for us.
Oh, I think that's really germane. I mean, you could just let it go and then keeps going. I don't know, maybe I'm reading this improperly, but it seems to me that we haven't made any, or no effort has been made of him to do something. And the deterioration is quite obvious based on what Amelia saw and what we have seen, pictures from 2015, the walk outside that we did in January of 18. It's just going to keep going. And at this point, they may pull this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point. So if the thing falls down, does that trigger this? And then
Right.
if it, let's say it doesn't trigger it, what, I mean, if the thing falls down, is that just, it's not, I mean, are we gonna try to get them to rebuild? I don't know what our remedy is after that.
I mean, there would have to be hearings for this to completely kick in, public hearings by the town and the Historic Commission of Massachusetts. But in the event of a sale of the property, the proceeds shall be paid to the grantor. So, I mean, he's going to win just by letting it sit there.
Is that really asking? You know, he's talking about if they sell the property, they're talking about them getting rid of the property. Is that impossible to continue the grantorship? Is that impossible for them to keep the property? Because there's so much deterioration and all this sort of stuff? Or is it going to say, well, he hasn't kept up with it, now he can't keep up with it, so now we got to let him do what he wants? It's more like if they've got to get rid of the property because they can't do what they're supposed to do.
Well, no, if it extinguishes to that point, it can be used for any other purpose.
Carl, you had your hand up?
Is this something we maybe run by the town council? I know we've been there too many times probably, but
Can't be there enough.
Yeah.
I don't know whose extinguishment it is, theirs or ours.
I noticed before that
It's
Amelia had her
both.
hand up.
It's,
Well, I was gonna say, Julie asked me to get back to her with any questions about what town council did to our letter, so I can just ask her to get them to explain this, section 26 to us. And I think what you're saying, Eileen, is, what do they mean by casualty? And whether their neglect of the building that leads to the destruction of the building is covered here or not. Is that correct? Okay, I can do that.
Do you see that paragraph?
I do see that paragraph, and you're right. It seems like that word casualty is an important one, and it's not clear as to what would trigger that. So I think
Exactly.
we need them to
Exactly.
explain that to us. And maybe it doesn't mean what we think it means, which would be good, but
don't,
I'll ask.
don't forget, in that first sentence, it says that an unexpected change in the conditions. And this isn't unexpected. We have seen this going on all the time. So I don't know how that plays into it either. I think we need to do some real investigation on that.
Okay, so are there any other words in that paragraph that people want town council to explain besides unexpected and casualty?
Let me see.
It does say grantor
The
or
thing
grantee.
the thing that is curious though, it says may make impossible the continued grantorship or use of the property for the purpose of this restriction.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's like saying, well, if it's deteriorated to such a point from which we can't do a criterion type of thing, well, perhaps we can do something else with it.
Yeah, I guess we just want an explanation, like a
Exactly.
a lay
Thank
person, what this paragraph means.
Okay.
Right.
Yep, I can do that.
Good, good, good.
Nice catches.
Anything else, Eileen, that you saw in that was problematic?
No, it's just the visuals that I think are so important.
So do you have the actual copies of the pictures that are appended to the PRA, or your pictures are?
I
from
have pictures
different-
that,
I believe they're Xeroxes.
yeah, they're color. I have color pictures. I have 2 sets of color pictures. Both seem to be dated August 2015. And they seem to be the same pictures. Maybe it's the same document, but they're pretty extensive. And I think, and then I have pictures that I took at that walk by in January of 18.
Right. But I think for comparison purposes, since the ones that were attached to the PRA are the baseline, those are the ones.
They're
that
not
we-
attached to the PRA. They're attached to the they're attached to the architect plans. I don't have any that are
Ah.
attached to. I have 2 sets of architectural plans. One was a redo because they canned the other guys. But these are architectural photos and architectural plans, but they're in color. And they seem to be the same photos, but I don't have anything attached to the preservation agreement.
Need an in-person meeting.
I think so. I absolutely agree with that.
Well, we're gonna have to deal with the 146 West Street guy, right?
Yep.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, all good discussion. I think Amelia has some, or at least for that paragraph. But let's go back to the letter. I'm fine with the letter, just taking that paragraph out. If you guys want to make some tweaks, that's fine too. But my personal opinion is it shouldn't be a 3 sentences. We should have a little meat in there. It doesn't have to be exhaustive. I think what's in there lets us know that we're looking. It kind of lays out, hey, there's there's half a dozen things here at least that you're in violation of this agreement. So I do have a question. Is it time for the joint meeting again with the Historical Commission on the 16th? What do people think about that? Now, the tricky part is if we are in session, does that mean we have to have the 146 guy, or are we allowed to have a meet? We might have to have two. We're gonna have to have a meeting for that guy's application. So this may be another meeting if we have a joint meeting with the Historical Commission. But I think we'll have a quorum there if one other person comes, so if people can't attend. But, well, anyway, what do people think about that? A joint meeting maybe on the 16th. Go ahead, Virginia.
On the 16th, we will be meeting in person, which and Zoom will be a long lost memory, I hope.
Oh, God, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And that brings up another unrelated question, but is Priscilla Polis still a member on the commission, Historic District Commission? Because I know she's had trouble getting in on Zoom. And is she being kept up to date with things? I haven't been sending some of the materials to her, but that's just an aside. So,
well, she's getting all the agendas, and
oh, okay.
I'm not doing the minutes. Yeah, I don't know about the minutes.
Okay, when we open up and meet together and avoid Zoom, maybe we should reach out to her and make sure she's invited back in. Somebody will do that. Thank you.
I can do that. I'm wondering if, now when we meet on when Historical Commission meets on the 16th, we have at least 2 demo delay hearings, I think. So
I know we have one. I don't.
Well, I think we got 531 and something else, but in any case, maybe this should be a 3rd meeting.
Yeah.
So that it's everybody, but it's all we talk about. And
yeah, that's
what's the next meeting? I'm sorry.
Historical Commission meets the 16th of June.
16.
And it will be in person. But the question is whether we combine with that or we should just make a separate Criterion Fest.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we should do, because I think for the purposes of this specific letter, I think we flushed out everything that we want on this commission in the letter.
Yeah.
If there's minor tweaks, I don't know, do we want to wait till we have our meeting on the 16th to see if there's any minor tweaks on their end and then send it? Or because Sam is signing it, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Or do you think based on this meeting, we can just send whatever edit to her and she could just give a thumbs up and then send it?
Well, I don't think that commission has seen this letter at all.
Okay.
Except for Jonathan.
Okay, so we should bring it to that full commission.
Yeah.
So unless there's like a, drastic changes, I think we'd be able to send the letter out after that meeting without having to have the joint meeting. The letter will be out, and then that gives us some time to have the joint meeting specifically only for this. How's that sound?
Good.
And then maybe a second joint meeting when we finally get the guy to show up and sit down.
Yeah, if he does, yes.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So I think we're good on the letter. Anything else on the letter?
Probably
Thanks
somebody should stop by and take some pictures as best we can. I know the leaves are out now, can't get the backside very well, but anything that is time stamped to say this is when we're talking would be important, I would think. So I will stop by and take pictures of at least the front 2 or 3 sides as best I can.
It's just so sad.
All right, so let's move on to the next thing on the agenda, which is new draft policy on new technology. Now, is that new technology? That's the split level new technology on houses, right? Not doing some Zoom hybrid meetings in the future.
No.
Yeah.
On
All right, I gotta run. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I just gotta run upstairs because I hear someone screaming.
Oh, it could be me.
So go ahead, Virginia, start, go ahead.
Okay. I've sent around an email with the issue of how to deal with mini splits that are now invading historic homes. And I proposed some wording to address the treatment of this new technology. And I tried to keep it fairly vague because any new technology, including charging stations and things, could be included under this wording. So shall I read what I'm proposing? I've sent around pictures so that you can see examples in Reading and elsewhere. How would you like to proceed with this?
Did you send this language in your email?
Yes, I believe I did. Yes. I can read it. It's not very long.
Yeah, read it.
And we can pick it apart if we need to. Treatment regarding new technology. I had if, but I think I should say when an application is filed that includes use of new technology that is not addressed in the district's guidelines, then efforts to evaluate the visual impact on the district as a whole and the impact to a structure shall be considered as to the long-term effect on the district while adhering to the previous guidelines. Overall visual impact shall take precedence, particularly concerning outside wiring, conductive tubes or piping, or any other means to conceal heating, cooling, conduits, or associated products.
That last bit wouldn't then apply to the charging system for the guy's car. So
Possibly, yeah. Though I suspect that there will be directives for electric charging stations that will have to be installed too. So, but I had the opportunity to see Everett's mini splits today. I had a tour, and he was very smart, and he concealed his by painting them or putting material on them so that it made them less visible. But I'm very concerned about, perhaps you saw the picture of the dark blue house that had the white conduit going all the way up to the second floor and then to the first floor as well. So I could just see a proliferation of all of these mini splits going up to second floors in the particularly older homes. And I think that will be a detriment to the integrity of the historic districts.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because, this is the especially for older houses without the ductwork, this is, these are popping up all over the place.
Right.
So, I know it says exterior HVAC equipment is definitely in the guidelines in our purview. So you got to balance that with telling people they can't have air conditioning. But yeah, painting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's new. I don't know. Anyone, what do people think? I think that's a great start, that language for sure.
maybe just the end part could be changed to say any other means to conceal mechanical systems or something like that, which the charger, I mean, because that's the deal, right? That you've installed some new system in your house and we don't want to have to look at the charging, the piping, all that stuff.
Yeah, but could they just cover that with a shrub? Or they could put up a 6-foot fence.
A year in advance without permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, by leaving it somewhat vague, I think we could probably have some more flexibility in granting these if we choose to. Like if they wanted to put it all in the rear of the house and we can't see it from the street, then there's no question they can do it. But I'd like to get a head start on what's going to be an issue as far as I'm concerned. And it's better that we have something written as a guideline so that we can fall back on it if needed. And already somebody has come forward to with an application for one.
My concern is just that if we specify about heating and cooling and it's something else we didn't think of, that maybe that we'd get trouble back about that.
We might, but then again, maybe you just modify your guidelines to incorporate that.
Okay.
For an
I have
update,
yeah, go ahead, Pina.
for an update to the guidelines, is that just, we don't need an act out, we just do that, we can do that ourselves?
I believe so. And then we have to turn it into the town clerk as an update.
How about to change the bylaw? Is that a town meeting thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm not saying get into the bylaw. I just wanted to know. Okay. Sorry, Everett, what were you gonna say?
I'm a little concerned on opening or not opening Pandora's box about energy conservation. Because that's what we're really talking about. When they put the word solar panels into the guidelines, that's to save energy. It may look awful as a historic building, but the real intent there is to save the planet, in some particular way. So if you talk about a mini split, that's to use less fuels, whether it be gas or oil, and it's to be green. And so I'm not totally in agreement, but I think we should be allowing that stuff to happen. The major reason you can do that is that it's all going to change. They let solar panels go on because they will do some destruction of the building, but they don't need huge, massive amounts. You need an in and an out, probably 2 inches in diameter, an electrical line down the side of the building, and use less fossil fuels. You use the sun instead. Use a mini split, it takes less. In the mini split that we have on the historic part of this house has a wire going in, approximately 1 inch in diameter. So there's a 1 inch hole at a sill. I understand that. And then 2 holes into the building, approximately 2 inches in diameter, which means that the clapboard would have to be replaced in one place and a plug put in. Not as much damage as, let's say, insulating, where you've got 50 plugs in the side of a building. Not that that shouldn't be done also, but could be done some other way. So I'm concerned about the solar, the energy conservation. And no matter what we decide, it's going to change. Tesla's putting all these plugs around for power stations. Hey, you don't have to plug your cell phone in anymore. You just have to set it on the pad. Maybe that's going to be that easy. That it's going to be done by telepathy or something, or in another 5 years. So that charging station is going to be a thing of the past a lot sooner than we think it is. I'm not opposed to having some language about it, but I think we have to realize it's going to change. And
Yeah,
hopefully
in
for the
5
better.
years, yeah, in 5 years, everyone might have a charging station in their driveway. Probably not, but maybe.
Or it's going to be already gone by and they don't need a charging station. All I have to do is get close enough to the building and it's inside the building, with their front view camera or their rear view camera, my over the head camera for my new car. I can see all the way around my car without getting out of the car. It's too bad I don't have an excuse to hit things anymore. So I think things are going to change anyway, but I still think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some language.
Virginia, you had your hand up?
Well, I was just thinking one thing that we should always consider as well, and I did not write that, but that anything that is done should be reversible. So I don't know how you would reverse this technology even when it becomes outdated. I think it's feasible, but just another consideration.
Everett?
When you say reversible, do you mean like the mini split, taking it out of the building or putting something else in?
Well, mostly the standards for rehabilitation by the Secretary of the Interior says to take into consideration whether the treatment is reversible, which is recommended. So I don't know how that would play
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. Obviously, if it says take a sill and put a whole new sill in the side of the house versus putting a plug in the sill, I think these are pretty non-invasive to the property.
Except for
they're-
visually.
Except for visual. I understand that. There's also this painting of tech woods, and they're not really good about giving you the information on it. There's tech wood, there's, well, even pressure treated is hard to paint and deal with. People say, oh, just paint it. And in 2 years, it's already peeling off. Sometimes if you wait a year and a half and then you prime it right, you can get away with a staining, but not a painting. My thought process there is that they don't provide that information with plastic wood, which I know is prone to sunlight in terms of lumina. If you have anything over a 55 in lumina, it will just, when the sun hits it, it'll bend it, it'll twist it, it'll lop it, whatever it does. But so if it's a light color and you put a very light colored paint on it, it's not a problem. Well, I've tested that. I don't know what the plastic is. I don't think it's a plastic wood. I think it's just plastic. I ran steel wool over mine to just rough it up a little bit. And then I took a can of spray paint and I put construction paper next to the pipe, tucked it in behind the pipe, and I sprayed it. And for the natural cedar section, I used a multicolored paint so that you get some reds and some browns and some yellows and stuff like that. And I don't think it's very visible. It's certainly less visible if it was a white pipe running up and down the front of the building, because I had to put it on the front. When I said the front, on the Pratt Street side front. On the other side of the house, I did the same thing. I roughed it up and I primed it and I painted it with the yellow that English ivy that the house is. And that's the side that has all the electrical work on it anyway. So I felt they were going to have too much trouble with it. So I think there's something coming down the road, if you know your materials well enough and they advertise them. And I think the state could possibly give us some guidelines on that. So I don't think it's too bad.
All right, Virginia.
Again, I tried to write this vaguely enough so that we could interpret any application that comes in and we'd have the flexibility of either granting or denying. But unless we have something in writing, we probably cannot deny anyone. And you could put conditions with the acceptance if you want.
Well, what do you mean you couldn't deny anyone for putting up a split level?
A mini split?
Yeah, is that what you're saying? If we don't have the language, we can't deny someone putting up a mini split? Because our guidelines do say exterior HVAC, so that's exterior HVAC.
Well, I don't know if people would, well, maybe people would understand that.
Yeah, I agree that we should revise the language, but I think in the interim, if one does pop up, which it did yesterday,
Yeah, I know.
I think we're covered at least in the interim by exterior HVAC equipment.
Well, that's your condenser section. It's part of the problem is this pipe work. That's a different story.
Yeah. I think that'll fall into the, we have discretion to, say what's in the purview or not, even if it's not, that came up a couple of weeks ago. So just pivoting. So I think maybe we should chew on the language a little and then maybe revisit or people, I don't know. I mean, this is the first we're kind of seeing it. I think it's a
Right.
very good idea, but I think maybe we should just keep it on the agenda for the next meeting and the next couple meetings.
That's fine.
Okay. Going really quick to the application we did receive. So we, I mean, he said it's behind a fence again, but we have to have the applicant here, right, to decide on any. Yeah, okay. So I think we're gonna have to I'll get some dates from him, and we're gonna have to have a meeting pretty soon, at least just for that.
This is the 149.
Yeah, 143, 149.
146.
One of those numbers, 140.
Going, gone.
But he,
I am gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if he sent. Hold on, I'll share it right now, real quick. I emailed him
146, I think.
to see if Amelia, were you on these? Oh, here it is. Okay, so he said that, he said he couldn't come to the meeting, so then I just asked him, can you see it from the street? And he said no, and he sent me these pictures. So this is where it's going.
Oh, okay.
And I said, is there any electrical or anything that you can see from the street? And he said, it's all going to be in the back. But again, this is just taking his word in an email. And again, it could, I don't know what this looks like from the street. There's the fence there, which we kind of set the precedent today that the fence would be an appropriateness standard. So, all right, so we're going to have a meeting for this. Maybe a couple more will roll in, but this was just received, I think, on Tuesday.
So do you have the application already?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm assuming he's gonna want to put it up pretty quickly. So, well, we have to have the meeting anyways, pretty soon.
Right.
Anyway, so.
And we have to act within so many days of receiving it, don't we?
Yeah, I think we have 14 to decide if we're gonna.
Under our purview.
Yeah, if it's not purview.
Well, can you make that decision now at this meeting?
That it's in the purview? I think so. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say like how we even decide that in the bylaw. I don't think it's just somebody just make it like a.
The chair's always made the decision.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's in the purview. So if you want to put that in the minutes, there's the. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, if it's behind the house and you don't see anything, hopefully it'll be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But we gotta have to have him come in. So I'll ask him for some dates. It seems like he was a Little League coach or some sport where they have a lot of practices and stuff in the evenings. So I'll get back with him and say we need to have a meeting on it. But I'll get some dates with him and then email everyone. So I'll send that out tomorrow morning to him.
Thank you.
Okay. Or well, does anyone have any dates that don't work that you want to just shout out now? Anything that doesn't work? I mean, it'd be nice to just kill this one next week if we can.
Yeah, I can't do the week of the 28th.
Okay. You just pull up the calendar. So
Are we supposed to meet more than once a month? I didn't think so.
Only as needed. is what we've done in the past.
Yeah, we can. I mean, if we don't, we're starting to get into the 45-day if we deadline it, and then July 4th will already almost be at like 40.
Approximately the 22nd, 23rd, that week, I will not be here.
How about I can't. What about like the 8th and 9th of next week?
No, I'm
I'm
not going to be
available.
around.
No.
I'm available.
Oh,
Virginia or Carly? Yeah, Eileen. I mean, this is good. I think there's gonna be a 5-minute discussion because it seems like it's really behind.
Yeah, I probably will be in New York for my grandson's birthday. So
I can't do the 10th. What do people? Or do we have enough for the 8th and 9th?
the 8th is bad for me.
What about the 9th?
That's fine.
I'm fine.
Oh, I got it.
Amelia? Or
I'm
Greg?
gonna
good,
check.
me.
Okay, well, I'll ask him those 2 dates anyway. Again, it's on this guy's schedule. I gotta see what he's doing. So I'll send him. I'll ask him about the 8th and the 9th, and maybe like what about 15th and 17th of the following week?
Well, after the 15th, it's going to have to be not virtual.
All right, so we should try to get it in next week, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right,
It's
so
just- it's-
I'll ask him the 8th and 9th, and I'll send the email out. And if I don't even know if he can do it, so we don't have to discuss it now.
We lost Virginia. I think she went to find her date book.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
She can hear us still.
I couldn't find my place to, now I can, to stop video. But anyways, yep. 8th and 9th is okay. Yep.
Okay, I'll actually email him now. Maybe we'll respond. All right. So I guess new business is next.
So I've got something.
Yep, go ahead.
So I emailed this to all of you earlier today about the walking tour next weekend. And I just thought I'd mention, I reached out to them because a high school history teacher asked one of my girls if she wanted to give one of the tours.
Oh.
So I talked to the history teacher, and it turns out she's not behind the organization, but she put me in touch with the guy who is. I think probably within historical commission, we could help with their research and stuff. They seem to have a lot of interesting research questions, Virginia Adams, that might be interesting. But in any case, it just seemed to me that it would be good for this commission to show up and go on the walk. And you don't have to, you can drive to the different locations. You don't have to walk the whole way. So that was
Ginny and I are already registered.
fab. So apparently the guy behind it is a 2009 graduate of the high school, and he was a Metco student.
Cool.
And so, all right, so that was my only thing.
Very good.
Oh,
Actually, to
Hold on.
follow up on that, I read in the paper that they are filming it so that you can watch it later on. That's what I'm going to plan to do.
So one of
Sorry.
the things they want to do is somehow recognize the enslaved residents of Reading who fought in the Revolutionary War who don't have any marked graves. So I don't know if that involves finding the graves or just some sort of memorial or something. But
Huh.
it just
Very
seemed
good.
made my history geek heart very happy.
Well, Virginia was over to the house today, and I know Ginny had some discussion about some of these issues about if you go to the national level, you get no recognition of anybody who fought in a war until the Revolutionary War. But there is a little bit of confusion as to some people that have lieutenant something written on their grave, and they were assumed to be in the American Revolution, but they could have been in the militia and assigned a rank too. So there's actually some work to be done on the actual birth and death dates of some of these people and stuff like that. So also that there is in the vital records, in the back of the vital records, there is a listing of many of the servants. Because Massachusetts law changing, which allowed people to indenture their slaves or make them servants. And that kind of hides them in the record books a little bit. But,
Yeah, because then you wouldn't know anything about their race, right? Because an indentured servant could be white too.
right. Yeah. So there's a lot of little twists and turns about this. It's kind of interesting. And I'll let you out. All my plans are tentative because Jen and I are trying to go to Iceland for obvious reasons.
Because Everett wants to go to Iceland. I heard about
And
that.
Ginny wants to go to Iceland too.
Oh, okay, good.
I've been to Iceland.
Yeah. But
I
now we
have. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to see the volcano. We're going to try and get some stuff down. We have a room. We don't have a flight yet. So
Okay, so maybe we should get back to work.
yeah. That's new business for not for the business.
Yeah.
Hey, just a note on the 8th and 9th. We can't do the 8th because we can't get the agenda posted in time because that's Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So it'd have to be Wednesday the 9th. Okay. I'll ask him if he's available the 9th.
Right.
All right.
can't
Any
do
other
it
new
yet.
business or else we can move on to minutes? All right, minutes. What do we got? One set?
Oh, I got 2 sets.
Oh, wait, two. Oh, these are the old ones, right?
Yeah, well, there are back minutes, but not the ones from January. Those are still outstanding someplace. I don't know.
Oh,
4th and 5th, is that what we have?
April and May, yes.
which one first?
April, because it came first.
Okay.
Do you have those, Pino, to put up? Pretty sure she sent them to us in a single email while we were having our last meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
They just
From
got
Julie. Yeah.
And Amelia, I don't know whether you noticed when you posted our meeting, you didn't have the date in it on the.
Didn't have the date in it. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right.
What date are we
Those-
doing first?
April, I think. The
21st.
the forms, the templates have these like funky formatting in them, and
Yeah.
it's really easy to return someplace and suddenly you've erased something else elsewhere in the document. So I'll
Oh,
just
bummer.
be more careful. Okay,
I don't have it.
right there, Pino elevated. I think that those things, most of the rest of the time she uses Mr. or Ms., but there she used first name. So I think we have to fix that.
Wait, does anyone have an edit? Oh, I can't edit this for some reason.
Do we have somebody recording these corrections?
I can do it.
Do we want to, wait, but can you edit this document?
I think I can.
Apple for
Well, I printed it and it's in Word. So yes, I can edit it. So do you want to just go through it verbally and I'll make the changes and send it to her? Or do you want to do it a different way?
If you want, unless you want to wait for when she's here. Well, now we're going to be in person probably next time. So.
Well, if we only have the one thing on our agenda for next week, maybe we could just do them next week.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Because then maybe she'll be here and she can just do it really quick.
Okay.
And we can go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Motion to adjourn? Anyone?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All right, Everett second. Vote. Amelia,
Yes.
Everett,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
think Eileen dropped off. Pino, yes, so 4-0. All right, have a great night, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.